Hello. And everybody that's been up here is so great yesterday and today. A lot of the answers that you've given address some of my question, and I would just like a little bit more in knowing how I want to feel. I often have to remind myself of my worthiness, of my goodness, and loving myself more. So I leave those notes to remind myself, to help me get in those spaces. And I find some physical conditions that have increased instead of decreased. And I'm wondering, how do I maintain so that I can feel better all the time and have the weight drop off?
Well, it's interesting because the notes that you leave are the notes left from the receptive mode of alignment with your vitality and resources, or is it inspired from a sort of wanting to motivate yourself to do something differently? Because as our friend before was making such a valid point, an impulse is an impulse. And so the question is, how do I know it's the right impulse? And we say, well, if you're not getting the results that you want, then it isn't. There are two ways to know. One is the way it feels, and one is the results that you're getting. And if the results that you're getting aren't the results that you want, then some additional massaging of something is in order, yes?
Yes, so
it is as simple as attention to the subject. And it's not easy to walk around in your physical body if it doesn't look the way you want it to look or feel the way you want it to feel without it getting quite a bit of your attention. And so you have to put your mind on other things. The best thing is to have projects that really interest you. Give your attention to something else. It is this simple, law-based, very easy to track understanding. So every subject is two subjects, wanted or lack of it. Which am I giving my attention to? Answer, am I getting what I want or the lack of it? There's your answer. So then what to do? Give no more attention to what isn't wanted. Not easy. So what's the answer? Give a lot of attention to what is wanted. Not easy either, but easier. You can't stop thinking about that thing that you want to stop thinking about. Stop thinking about that thing you're going to stop thinking about. You're thinking about that thing that you want to stop thinking about. And no matter how hard you try to stop thinking about that thing you're thinking about, you're still thinking about that thing that you don't want to think about. And the whole time that you're thinking about that thing that you don't want to think about, you're practicing the vibration of the thing that you don't want to think about. You just cannot get around it. You've got to change the subject. And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, we wouldn't change the subject to the other end of the same stick. That's just asking for trouble, isn't it? I don't want to think about this. I do want to think about this, but I'm paralyzed because this has got me. So think about other things. So what's at the essence of this thing that you don't want and this thing that you do want? What's at the essence of it? What's the essence of it? Never mind the physical manifestation of it. What's the essence of it? How would the accomplishment of that feel? What would it feel like? The accomplishment of what you are wanting to accomplish. What would it feel like emotionally?
it would feel like ease. It would feel like joy.
So is there anything else off that specific topic that feels like ease? We think that every time just about that you're in a room, you light up in a way that you end up on the stage with relative ease. There are a lot of people in this room, and yet here you are with ease. What's up with that? What's up with that? It's your expectation. It's because it's happened before, and so you're not fighting against it not happening. You expect it to happen, and the universe provides the opportunity for it to happen to you. And so ease and joy. What else? Would it feel like freedom? Would it feel like fun? And is there anything in your life that feels fun? Are you having any fun? Do you ever have any fun? What other things are fun? You see what we're getting at? You've got to take your attention off the details that sort of have you hogtied a little bit and give your attention to other things that feel freer. You got to get your mind off of that, because your mind on it just keeps the momentum of it going.
I really loved how yesterday you talked about the rain. And
why do you want the rain? Don't tell us why you want it not to rain. Tell us why you want the rain.
So would I approach my physicalness in the same way? Why do I want the weight to go away.
But you see, that analogy that we gave to Jerry and Esther was easier because they weren't suffering over the rain not being there. That was softer. Those ends of the sticks were much blurrier than the ends of this stick. Much less momentum about it. And so a simple pivot to what do I want rather than what I don't want is simple. And in the early subtle stages, it's always easy. That's why we say catch it early before there's momentum, and then you can control anything that you want to control. But when you take subjects like physical body weight or physical wellness, you can't watch television without them convincing you that you're dying fast. In other words, the symptoms are there. Esther watches television and she says, I'm sure I have some gout. I'm sure. No, Esther, you stubbed your toe. Oh, thanks for reminding me.
So in listening to you for so long, I struggle with the knowing there's a better way and leading myself there.
Let's do some words. Instead of struggle, use the word wonder. I wonder.
Okay.
Feel how much lighter it is? I wonder. Now you can do that. You can change the word struggle to wonder every time. I wonder. And if you do that a couple of 100 times a day, there'll be less struggle and more wonder. More comments like, I'm looking forward to, rather than I'm unhappy with. I'm looking forward to, looking forward. Don't you really love accomplishing? You do. Don't you love there being a big mess and you cleaning it up? You do. You do. In fact, sometimes you just make messes so that you can clean them up. And so, isn't progress a wonderful thing? Isn't that a wonderful thing to be able to move forward to what you want? Isn't it nice to have plenty of incremental evidence of improvement? Now, we're hitting this subject more head on than we really want you to, because when you've got a vibrational stalemate, and you do, because you've been after this for a while, so there's a vibrational stalemate, we'd change the subject and we'd look for evidence of success of alignment on other subjects, for which there are many in your life experience. Because do you ever hear anyone use the term struggle about something that they don't care about? Someone calls you on the telephone and says, hello, you don't know me. I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again. You'd say, I'm really going to struggle with this. Struggle with the idea of this complete stranger not ever calling me again. Let me think about that. That really bothers me at all levels of my being. There's no struggle if you don't care. And so pick subjects where there's no struggle and turn your powerful, and we mean it, mind toward those things, and watch the evidence of your clarity and alignment until you convince yourself that there isn't anything that you can't do. Attention to what is keeps you from moving toward what is preferred. It is really that simple. Enough?
On that subject, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So now let's revisit this. So now where you are, you want to talk about something, because after all, you are in a room full of people. You are really good at always bringing something to a place that is beneficial to everyone, like just happened. So there you are. You've raised your hand. We've called you up, and here you are. It's a new segment. It's a new moment. And so here you are. Now what would you like to say? What do you want to talk about?
Malibu and pineapple should be in the side item. That's fun for me.
So where you are right now, conversation isn't about anything that has struggle involved in it, is it? It's emphasizing or adding impetus to the momentum of things wanted. Yes? Isn't it just logical?
Yes.
So that's the way it goes. And you've heard us say, first thing in the morning is the easiest way to get that momentum going. The further you get into the day, the less you should think about things that are troubling. Yeah.
Yes.
Really good. Enough?
Now would be a really good time to come up with a question. I I'm really enjoying this workshop from a different perspective than I've ever experienced one of your seminars from before. In part, it's because now when people come into the hot seat and ask their question, the answer that you give them is the experience I've already had. And I'm feeling more momentum of, I really am empowered, whereas I wasn't before. And I really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that before.
It isn't as difficult as anyone is making it, is
It's so damn easy to have an amazing life.
Yes, yes, yes. That should be the banner. It's so damn easy to have an amazing life. That's an expectation that will serve you. That is an expectation that will serve you.
It has been. And so I had an experience recently that I want to ask you about with, I'm really focused, I can tend to be intense, and I'm usually able to allow that intensity to come out more as passion, which evokes wonderful things for me. But I had an experience recently where it worked out really well, where I had a time period where I would be distracted. I was going to be online, I was going to have something I needed to have a little bit of my attention, but lots of other attention is available. And a family member popped up at my home and was not feeling well. And by the time the family member left, her face was different, her body was different, she was feeling great, I was feeling great, sort of felt like, well, that was easy. But it was a big topic that she came to talk about. And so my question is, was my split attention beneficial for me in that situation? Because if I had really focused on what she brought to the table...
We don't think that's what it was.
Oh, good.
You can be in the receptive mode and have a variety of things that you're giving your attention to.
Yes.
Think what it's like for source energy. Do you know how many things that we are giving our attention to without splitting our energy? So different subjects don't split your energy. What splits your energy are different vibrational frequencies.
Okay, that clears up so much of my life experience, because some people say that there's no such thing as multitasking, and I feel like I'm doing 12 things at the same time, and I feel great about it.
That's the best flow that there is. When you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you allow the universe to cause a convergence of so many things that you're interested in, so that you're just taking it all in, and you're wide open so that you're receiving it, that is the sweet zone. That's a sweet spot. That's what you all want.
Yes.
That's what you all want. You can mimic the multitasking that Source does. You can.
Okay. That's really delicious. I'm going to savor that one for a long time.
Another banner. Source is ultimate multitasker.
Okay.